Hi everyone. In today's Ask Andrew, I'm going to be talking about inversion. Some of you have been asking me how you use first inversion chords specifically in a 4-part harmony, and I thought I would show you some examples today of how you do that. What are first inversion chords? Obviously, they are chords where you flip the bottom note to the top. When you're writing a 4-part harmony, it's very important to use a mixture of root position chords and first inversion chords. Root position chords are quite solid in their effect, and you need the first inversion chords in there to create contrast because they are lighter in effect. So let's have a look at how we use them. In this first example here, I've got a bar of A major. I've got a bass line here, and we're just going to have a look at what the implications of those bass notes are. If we're in A major and the first note is an A, it's probably got to be a 1, chord 1. So let's fill that out and then proceed. So I'm just going to put an A here, and then I'll put an E here and a C sharp there. Now, what's the next bass note? It's a C sharp. It's a third away from the A. What you should be doing is thinking, if it's a third away from the tonic, maybe we can use the first inversion there, because the first inversion is going to be C sharp, E, A. Let's do that. For a first inversion chord, you need to double either the third or the sixth. You've got a choice here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an A there, an E there, and then another E up here in the soprano. Usually what happens when you go from chord 1 to the first inversion, or any chord to the first inversion, 2 parts will move and 2 parts will stay the same, and that's what's happened here. The soprano's moved, the bass has moved, the tenor and the alto have stayed the same. It might not always be like that, but that's a good yardstick. The next chord has a D in the bass. Let's just put in a root position chord. A D in A major implies chord 4. So let's just put these Roman numerals in. They're very useful as you work along. Chord 4, D, F sharp A. Let's just work from what we've got here. I'm going to put another A in here in the tenor line. I'm going to put the F sharp there in the alto line, and the soprano is going to fall to the D. All good. What's with this F sharp in the bass line? Again, it's a third away from the D. Let's use another first inversion. So we'll use chord 4B. F sharp A, D, you can double the A or you can double the D, whatever gives you the smoothest part writing. I'm just going to use an A there. I'm going to make the alto go up to the A there, and the D is going to stay the same. So again, the same thing's happened. 2 parts have moved, this time it's the bass and the alto. 2 parts have stayed the same, the tenor and the soprano. So you can see how useful first inversions are. They save you a lot of trouble trying to work out each chord individually. Look for opportunities to use them in a bass line. Usually they are a third apart, and not just in the bass line, also in the top line. If you've got notes that are a third apart, think about using root position first inversion. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of trouble. Another really excellent way to use first inversions is as an approach chord to a cadence. And so what I've got here in the second example is a perfect cadence, 5-1 in B flat major. I've drawn in the cadence there, the notes for the cadence. I've left an E flat here in the bass line. Now, if you looked at that without any harmonization there, you might think, okay, that implies chord 4. I'll go 4-5-1. The problem with putting root position chords before a cadence is that they somehow make the cadence seem less strong. It's really good to use a first inversion chord there as the approach chord, because it strengthens the effect of the cadence. So again, look for opportunities to use first inversion chords before a cadence. So with that E flat there, think back a third to the C, and let's try and use the chord 2B before this. Chord 2, C, E flat, G, 2B, E flat, G, C. You can double the G or you can double the C. I'm just going to put a G there, and then I'm going to put a G there, and a C there. And you see that works perfectly, and it's very smooth as well. First inversion chords are excellent choices for approach chords into a cadence. Try to find opportunities to use them. The last example I've got here, I've actually used chord 1C, the second inversion. Now, at grade 5 theory, grade 6 musicianship level, you need to be able to use chord 1C in a cadence formula, and only in a cadence formula. So I thought I'd just give you one example about how to use the second inversion here. This is an example in G major, and I've got two Ds here and a G there. Chord 1C has the same bass note as chord 5. So that's usually a clear indication. If you're given a bass line and you've got the final cadence and you've got two notes that are the same, usually that implies the use of chord 1C. Chord 1C, you have to double the root note. So that's the D. I'm going to put a D here in the alto line, just there. And then for chord 1C, you need a B and a G. Let's put the D here in the tenor and put the G in the soprano. When you move from chord 1C to 5, the parts that hold the Ds must be the same. So the bass and the alto, the two Ds must be the same. And then if you move in respect to the other parts, they must fall by step. So the G falls to an F sharp, the B falls to an A. Those are the two most important things to remember about second inversion chords. And then we can just easily put in the other notes to complete the cadence. 1C to 5 to 1 is a very common formula for cadences, so it helps to remember that one. Just one note left here, and I put in an E here before this little formula. Can we use a first inversion here as an approach chord into this little cadential unit? I'm pretty sure we can. So thinking back a third to the C, I'm thinking that chord 4B might be the one to use here. Let's see if it works. Oops, 4B. Chord 4B, we need E, G and a C. You can double the G or you can double the C. So I think what I'm going to do here is put the C here in the tenor. And then I'm going to put another C here in the alto and a G there. And I think that works. So first inversion, second inversion, and then your cadence. Inversions. Look for opportunities to use them, as I've said today. Being able to use first inversions saves you a lot of time, and also knowing where to look for opportunities to use them. It's good to know that you can use them as approach chords in various spots. Hope this information was useful, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. See you next time.